So, how's your retirement plan working out for you lately? That's what I want to discuss right now. Now, my retirement plan got kicked in the teeth time after time uh, back in the 80s, and it was horrible. I had just turned 30 in 81 and thought I knew absolutely everything that mattered. Wrong, dead wrong. Almost faster than I could watch it happen, I lost 3 properties, literally. I then figured out the age old axiom: nobody beats the market, period. You can talk all day long about how much you know. You cannot beat the market. You have to take time, and if you have the time, you can outlast the market and then make your move. Okay? Now, if the market gives what it gives and allows us to take away what it pleases, and you understand that, you will do so much better. Now, I've spoken with a lot of people over the years that are so impressed with their 401k balance at work. I recently talked to a pretty smart guy earlier this year, and he had built his up to 400,000. I looked at his annual return so far on that 401k. It was a whopping 2%. Now, if he continues putting in 15,000 a year for 20 more years, he'll be 65 with $1 million inside his now former employer's 401k. A 4 to 5% max yield is what he's going to be enjoying, quotes, in retirement. Are you kidding me? If he'd have had that in real estate, if he screwed up, he'd have had 2 million and more likely 3. Okay? Just lollygagging around. All right? Now, for the record, the vast minority of Americans never get within sniffing distance of even 30% of that much in their 401k. It just doesn't happen. People don't make enough money to put in 15,000 a year usually. And their employers don't put that much more in. He was fortunate. You know that most people when they're 55 have 100,000 if they're lucky, and most of them are not lucky. Now, another lesson I've learned early on is that real estate is not the be all end all in planning for retirement. And I know that surprises a ton of people. I'm a real estate investment broker. I had my eyes opened 25 years ago by many things that happened in the market. And I tell you right now, it really made a difference for me and my clients. There are times when real estate just ain't the way to go. And when I see that for real, I put them in 2 different investments and I try to make them tax free. So when they retire, what they end up with is Social Security, and usually their wife's working, so they're having 2 Social Security checks. Most of them will end up averaging 40,000 a year in Social Security, but that includes 2 people having work. If it's one person, it's usually $25,000 to $31,000. But if I got them into income producing things and they only had, say, 14 or 15 years to go, and we did it in a Roth, they're typically generating somewhere around another 40,000 to 50,000 a year in 15 years. And it's tax-free by definition. Let me say that again. 40 to 50,000 a year in about 15 years by definition. It is what it is. Now, if you're surprised hearing this from a long-time real estate investment broker, but a combination of real estate, discounted notes, and certain insurance strategies wins the day most of the time for you, keep listening. I want to underline what you think is good in real estate is good if it means long-term investment and growth during the time you don't need any income. I cannot harp on that enough. You have to get your head into growth because the income in retirement comes, generally speaking, from the equity in real estate you have plus all the other investments. But the equity in real estate is what's going to give you the income along with those other investments we did for you. I have many people retiring with more income after tax in retirement than they ever received while working. It's probably over 30-40% of my clients. But they came to me in their 30s, most of them. Some in their 40s, a very few in their 20s. And they listened. And some of them came dragging. I had to drag them and scream at them and this, that, and the other before they would do what was the right thing, because they kept wanting to do the wrong thing until after about 15 years, they stopped. And I'd say it's time to do something. They'd say, okay. It's not rocket science. If it was rocket science, trust me, I couldn't handle it. Okay? It just is what it is. Now, you want to know why 401k advisors tell employees their income taxes will be lower when they retire? Oh, yeah, it's because their income is going to suck. I wish I could come up with a higher tech way to say that, but that communicates exactly what your income's going to be if you relied on your 401ks and IRAs. It's just not going to happen because when you combine those investment bags, so to speak, with the stock market, you're guaranteeing yourself a giant slow motion loss. And I can't help you. Now, it's because they know employees will have substantially less that they keep telling you your taxes will be lower. All you hear is, my taxes are going to be lower. They get your mind off what the income's going to be. Keep your eye on the ball. It's about retirement income, period, end of sentence. And the number one rule is no risk that's not required, period. Now, bottom line, 401ks, unless you completely control what they invest in, are not the way to go for retirement, period, end of sentence. Don't let anybody tell you any different. I'll see you next time.